Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hundreds of people here, and they've been here for the last hour with it sounding just like this, and it's whatever you can make noise with. We've got a lot of whistles. We'll take you through some of this. And then you can see here a little bit of DIY from the kitchen. Just whatever pots and pans people could grab, a spatula, a lid of a pot. There's tubas, trumpets, lots of whistles. We even saw an inflatable frog with an accordion a few minutes ago. So, as you mentioned, they are here because they believe ICE agents are staying at this hotel. We don't know if that's actually the case, but their goal is to try to make sure that ICE agents have as hard of a time as possible sleeping tonight. And they plan to be out here for 3-4 hours plus tonight. Hundreds of people are here. They have totally blocked off almost an entire city block here. And this noise has been constant throughout. Several people have speakers that they are carrying on their shoulder, blasting music all throughout here. Now, it's also notable there's no police presence here. So while they're blocking this off, this is not a city-condoned event by any means at all. But thus far, while it is extremely loud, extremely crowded, it has been peaceful thus far at this point. One of many protests that are scheduled to take place this weekend. Jesse?
Wouldn't it be funny if ICE wasn't even staying at that hotel?
Right?
Poor people. Oh, my God. All right, well...
Yeah, but a lot of people are staying at the hotel who didn't get any sleep. That's, of course, Minneapolis, the lawlessness, the insurrection growing out of control. Welcome, my friends. This is, of course, your Saturday morning extravaganza. It is the Saturday vibe. Glad you're here. Have that first, second, third, or fourth cup of coffee with us. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. 800-848-9222. Events concerning the insurrection in Minnesota spreading, by the way. There are more protests that are happening, anti-ICE protests around Democrat blue cities, as usual. But there are other things in the news. We are going to talk extensively about that. Inside information here. Oh, before we get to the inside information, expected on today's program, Princess Diana. We will catch up with the lovely, gracious, wonderful Princess Diana. Today we will catch up with our very own Lizzie Radabali. Today, Red Apple Audio Network star anchorette. And we will catch up with America's small caffeinated mom, Rhonda Schrock, who's back with us this week. And your telephone calls at 800-848-9222. Now, the inside information. And it's a minor thing, but usually, we have a lot of audio clips for you to present to you to listen to as part of the program. Usually, we list them all out on what we call in the business a cue sheet. Just tells us what we have, everything. Now, usually a cue sheet for me is about 2 pages, 1 page, 2 pages. Today's audio came in at 5 pages, and that was before the overnight audio, which added to it. So we've got more audio than we can possibly get to, but I want to get to as much of it as possible, as well as your telephone calls. And part of that, as you know, is that I like to play audio from social media networks so that you can hear what Americans are thinking unfiltered, not through the perspective of the news. Now, we do have, of course, some people that we want to get to. We will play portions of them. Some of them are too long. In fact, there's one from Anderson Cooper I want to get to. He talked to a video forensic expert on this whole video that has shaken up this country with the ICE agent having to defend himself, resulting in the death of a woman. But before we get to that, there's also news about the economy. There's also news about foreign affairs. And I want to make sure we don't miss that. Let us go. For many of you, Steve Moore, you get a chance to hear him. He's a part of the Red Apple Audio Network's syndicated crew. And Steve Moore has a program, just brilliant economist. But anyway, he was on Fox Business. Little Ebonic language for it. He was on Fox Business. And that's cut one. And I want you to keep this in mind. Princess Diana has been saying for the better part of a year, ever since Trump came into office, that it would take about a year before the changes that Donald Trump was putting in, before they started to show results. And she kept urging all of you, every American, please be patient. Things are going to be rocky during this year, during last year, 2025, but in 2026, she said, things will turn around and you will see it. And she also said that the economy would boom in 2026. So keep that in context while you listen to this from Steve Moore.
My God, we just got a report from the Fed Atlanta Bank that says we grew at 5.3% in the fourth quarter. This is an absolutely booming economy right now.
Very quick, but very to the point. They're projecting now growth over 5%. That is, as Steve Moore just said, a booming economy. And we're just at the beginning of that. Now, as you know, this business with Venezuela, which is, beside the political and geopolitical, Donald Trump has talked about the oil. Some liberals have talked about the oil using the decades and decades and decades old recycle. They are good at recycling slogans. No war for oil. No war for oil. As, by the way, many of them with glasses on their face, which need oil. You need oil in so many different things that are manufactured. Oil has to be used. It is one of the lifebloods of the, not just American economy, but the global economy. Oil is an important thing, important substance, important element for all economies, not just America's. But one of the things that Donald Trump spoke about this week was oil. And cut 3, this is what the President of the United States had to say about Venezuelan oil.
The plan is for them to spend, meaning our giant oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need government protection and need government security that when they spend all this money, it's going to be there so they get their money back and make a very nice return. The plan is for them to spend at least $100 billion to rebuild the capacity and the infrastructure necessary. Venezuela has also agreed that the United States will immediately begin refining and selling up to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan crude oil, which will continue indefinitely. We're all set to do it. We have the refining capacity. It was actually based very much on the Venezuelan oil, which is a heavy oil, very good oil, great oil. It's fantastic for certain things like asphalt roads, best there is in the world for asphalt roads and other things. All of the companies here today are going to be treasured partners in bringing the nation of Venezuela back to life, restoring its economy and generating great wealth for their companies and for their people, and also great wealth for the American people, and tremendous wealth for the companies that are going in. The companies that are going in, and if you don't want to go in, just let me know, because I got 25 people that aren't here today that are willing to take your place. So I just want to thank, these are people that I either know or I know of by reading.
The oil executives in a meeting with Donald Trump, he's announcing plans for how to bring back the economy of Venezuela, which, by the way, has more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia, and to make that nation great again in terms of their economy, which has been soiled, ruined by now 4 decades of socialism, has completely destroyed the Venezuelan economy. Now, one other thing before we head to our first break, Greenland. I have a AP story in front of me from Nuuk, Greenland. Greenland's party leaders firmly reject Trump's push for U.S. control of the island. One of those leaders, the Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, we don't want to be Americans, we don't want to be Danes, we want to be Greenlanders. Well, okay, but President Trump had some words earlier this week about Greenland. Cut 2, and this is what the president said. It's pretty direct about the U.S. ambitions with Greenland.
Right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
Well. So, if they don't like it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. I mentioned during the week that the United States already has a pact coming out of World War II. We can install as many military bases as we want there. We don't need their permission. We have a pact in place that we can build in Greenland, that we can install as many military operations, runways, etc. in Greenland. That is a pact between the United States and Greenland already in existence. Now, Trump is very serious about this, and his take, you just heard him, is that either Russia or China will make a move on Greenland if we don't have control of that island. So there are geopolitical, I don't know whether that will satisfy people that are saying, this is aggression, like Macron the other day started talking about U.S. imperialism. It's like, how dare you? The French still own islands in the Caribbean and in other places where you're exerting the vestiges of colonialism. So it's like, if you're in the EU, just have a seat and be quiet. This is the Western Hemisphere. Deal with your own backyard. Anyway.
The James Golding Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golding Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay. As I mentioned, we've got so many sound bites from media figures and others, and from social media, especially concerning events. Before we get to some of the social media voices that you'll hear, and your telephone calls, by the way, are coming up, I want you to listen to Philadelphia liberal left-wing zealot, the DA, Larry Krasner, who has released so many criminals on the streets of Philadelphia, but he has found now where he thinks his crime-fighting effort should be. That's cut 5. Here is the Philadelphia District Attorney, Larry Krasner.
If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time, because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military? You're going to jail if you commit crimes in the city of Philadelphia. You will be accountable. The law applies to all of you. And I know that there are honest, decent, moral law enforcement officers out there by the bushel, including in ICE. This is not for you. This is for any one of your colleagues who thinks they are above the law.
Yeah, well, this DA is about to FA and he will FO. So you keep coming after ICE, this insurrection. Now, the Philadelphia County Sheriff, that's cut 37. We played a little bit of her. We don't have time to play that before the break. But I want you to hear what's happening in Philadelphia. All of it in Philadelphia. These liberals are totally trying to do everything they can to foment a full-scale insurrection against ICE in this country. And the results of it, you heard, hundreds of people with not a police presence at all, surrounding a hotel, an entire city block, making noise, disturbing the guests that are there because they think ICE is there. And the police do nothing about it. It is an unlawful gathering. But this is lawless Democrat. And remember this in November, by the way. November will be here before you know it. And we'll be voting. Remember each and every one of these Democrats and their abject hatred for having the law of the land enforced. James Golden.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None.
Yes, they do.
None.
Yes, they do.
Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who say he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you getting arrested there.
You do it there, you getting arrested there.
For them to hide you. None of that.
Hide you. That's what hide you. Yeah.
Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles.
Yes, they do.
She wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way.
She was trying to run over an officer.
Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles.
Enough.
Invoking an
action. What you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat.
That's the mood in Philadelphia. The county.
See, I am one of my
Did you hear what I said? I said.
And yellow, but first I gotta bang bang the boogie to the boogie, say up jump the boogie to the bang boogie, let's rock.
Yes, my friends, the insurrection, the Democrat insurrection of 2026 is underway. That's Hank, Big Bank Hank. Henry Lee Jackson. rapper from the Sugar Hill Gang, first hip-hop act to have a huge crossover hit in America. The first real rap record that was a hit in America. Not as widespread, granted, as Sugar Hill Gang. Was from Gary Bird. Every brother ain't a brother. But 1979, this one just broke the charts wide open. Big Hank passed away on November 11th, 2014. He was 58 years old. The music, of course, lives on. Holiday Inn.
Say if your girl starts acting up, then you take her friend. I'm Master G. I'm a mellow. It's on you. So what you gonna do?
Well, it's on and on and on and on and on. The beat don't stop until the break of dawn. I said a M-A-S, a T-E-R, a G with a double E. I said I go by the unforgettable name of the man they call a Master G. Well, my name is known all.
Now, of course, the backing music, let's not forget, is the Chic song Good Times. Nile Rodgers, Bernard Edwards. All from the group Chic. Nile Edwards still kicking it out there. James Golden, Snerdley with you. Okay, yes, if you're on the phones, I should take some phone calls now. Otherwise, we're going to have people waiting for hours and hours. We have other voices we have to get to. I'm going to get to some of the sound, but I want to hear what people have to say. Mark is calling from Hackensack, New Jersey. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I hope all is well with you. Point. That DA already showed his hand in the event this goes to trial, letting you know it would be a biased trial. It's being held in their jurisdiction under their terms and their standards. Much like
and this is like Letitia James. The Democrats are really in, and this is their law enforcement, who can't even recognize that a fellow law enforcement officer had his life threatened. They are so ruled by their TDS, nothing, and their desire to protect illegal immigration, which is the means to political power for Democrats. So protecting illegal behavior has become their number one mission, even in Democrat law enforcement and the judiciary of the Democrat Party.
Their base don't care for cops, so they don't care for cops.
They never have, really. But now, even when they are cops, apparently.
That's not their true sentiments. It's really not. They just go where the vote is. They go with the hot hand. The hot hand right now is defiance of police departments, defiance of law enforcement. So that's the hot hand. That they depend on the vote. That's the vote. If they want that, then we have to go along with it. You really think these politicians can't stand cops? They respect police. They really do.
Democrats don't. Democrats don't. I disagree with that. I will play some Democrats for you. I will play some Democrats for you, and let me ask you if you think that they respect. Excuse me,
Bo. It's an act, Bo. It's an act. It's to get the vote. They're going.
It's
with
an
the
act.
Vote.
Let us see whether your countrymen and women in this country agree with that it's an act. Because if it is an act, they have been playing this act now for decades.
And they're good at
it. Wow. Mark, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Adam is calling. Good morning, Adam. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Bo Snerdley. I'm okay, sir. I'm okay. I just appreciate you, though. I appreciate you. I wanted to tell you that. Happy New Year. And I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you. And I got to say
Adam,
that...
go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're saying that Democrats don't respect the law or whatever you're saying. Well, who was that was beating up them police on January 6th, sir? Was that Democrats?
Who was that beating up the police on January 6th?
Yes, sir, look, the Capitol.
Now, you will never, ever, and you have heard me say, and you will hear me say it again, don't even laugh, you've heard me say, anybody that raised their hand against the police, anybody that vandalized, I said should have been punished. Period. I'm not going to draw lines and play games with that. If you attack police officers, I don't care who you are. I don't care what party you belong to. I don't care what your political affiliation is. If you are going up against legitimate law enforcement operations and you go there, then you get punished. Can't hear you, Matt. Matt is telling me something in my ear. Adam, I guess the line just went. Yeah, Adam, I'm sorry, your telephone line went, but you've never heard me be an apologist for people that try to take on the police. I'm not going to do it. Now, for all you people that were rabid over January 6th, and by the way, let's not forget the real story of January 6th. There were a relatively small handful of people that actually did those things, that committed vandalism or that attacked the police. The vast majority of people that were hunted down like animals by the FBI simply walked into a building that the doors were open for them to come in, and walked in and were peaceful and walked out of their own property because the taxpayers own that building, the Capitol building. And those people were hounded down. Their livelihoods were crashed in some cases for doing absolutely nothing. And that's the real story. Now, those people, those few that were involved in vandalism and those few that were involved in striking police officers, I have no problem with those people being prosecuted. None. Zero. The vast majority of people at January 6th did not do anything of the sort. They're not like these people, masses of them, that are now attacking federal agents while Democrats remain quiet or defend them. There's some interesting things happening out here, folks. All right, we have some others. We got Jasmine Crockett, but I'm not going to go to her right now. We'll start with the social media voices. Matt, do you know whether we have, Matt and Elias and Rod are hanging in there working it today. Matt, do you know whether we have that cut that I sent from the overnights about, the woman who declares what kind of country this is, the one that runs 2 minutes and 10 seconds. This is what you're getting, ladies and gentlemen, from the social media leftists. We're queuing it up right now. Here it is.
A shithole country, America, and this is what happens because none of you would vote for a woman. I hate you all. As I watch ICE agents in Minneapolis, Minnesota murder a woman in cold blood, I'm reminded that those ICE agents have joined up with that agency because they want to murder people, just like Kristi Noem wants to murder dogs. When you put murderous people in charge, then people die, and no one is going to be left untouched by this. The United States has fallen to violence. The entire Trump administration is drenched in nothing but bloodlust and violence. We are violent. We are monsters. We are destroying the planet, and we are doing it at the hands of violence because you have normalized guns, because you have normalized violence, because you have normalized the most despicable things. And these people can't even get a woman to look at their disco stick because of how f***ing disgusting they are, but they are given a permit to kill us by the United States government. You live in a whole country, America, and everyone who's watching this from wherever else around the world, I want you to know, yeah, we know what the is going on here, and yeah, there are a million morons who are cheering on their own destruction. We have our own Hitler running everything, and now they're seeking to destroy not only American streets, but the streets of Greenland, the streets of Mexico, the streets of Venezuela, the streets of Cuba. What kind of disaster have you brought upon yourselves, America? And why aren't you angry enough yet? Why aren't you mad enough yet? We are dying in the streets here. They are killing us. They are killing people over the world. And all of this because you voted for a man who has a lust for power that cannot be quenched, because you voted for people who can't even be trusted around other people's wives. This is what happens when you lean into your very worst tendencies. This is what happens. The entire world is paying a price, and we are paying a price here on these streets. And if you are not angry enough yet, now is the time. Be angry.
But how did Clinton get that? How did the guy that can't be trusted around other people's wives, how did he get into her diatribe? I don't understand that. Okay. Another one. Cut 14. Let's listen to another one. Here's another liberal woman. Here she is.
It's Civil War time. I hope you guys Democrats need to stand up and start fighting. You better get ready to fight, or you're about to lose your country. Do you guys realize that? Are you listening to what J.D. Vance is saying right now? Are you listening? I implore you to go watch the press briefing that J.D. Vance and KK Caroline are doing right now for the White House. I implore you to go watch that and then start doing something! We are literally about to lose our country. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? It is not something for you to just turn a blind eye. This is not a time for you to stick your head in the ground and do nothing! There are two scenarios here, okay? You've got two scenarios. You're either about to lose all your rights. You're going to lose all your rights. This country's about to turn into a dictatorship, and all the women are about to lose all their rights. I need you to wake the up to that. You don't do anything. You do nothing. That's what happens. It is time to fight. It is Civil War time. You guys need to wake the up, stop being little and start fighting the back. It is time to fight.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, so you've heard from some of the liberal voices. Now, this one that I'm going to play for you next, folks. If you're on hold, stay on hold. By the way, we'll get to you close as soon as we can, promise. This one takes a little bit of listening. I thought when I first was listening to this guy that he was going in a direction, I was like, uh-oh. And then he turned it around and flipped it. The premise is, and I'm going to just tell you the premise so you'll get it without being... the premise is this incident in Minnesota has changed his perception of conservatives. And he'll explain why. Here he is.
Conservatives only approve of excessive and deadly force when it's a on the receiving end. Problem being, most of the videos that come in front of white conservatives are doing crime. So when they see it acting they gonna say, shoot that. Okay. Enough of the shock content.
N-word.
Real talk. We're now seeing white people celebrating and cheering ICE on after laying down one of their own. What does that tell me? It tells me two things. The media has been lying, gaslighting people for years. And it tells me, number two, that conservatives just don't play about law and order. They believe in the commandments of FAFO. Bro, if you try to run over an ICE agent, you get ran down. That's just what makes sense. That's common sense. That's a world that makes sense to me. That's the way the world always was. And quite frankly, I think that's the way the world's always going to be. White people have completely destroyed the narrative. Black people have been saying for years and years, oh, if there was ever a white Floyd, oh, if white liberals ever stood for a white person, white people would stand with them. They got all these crazy scenarios. White people saying, your dumb white ass shouldn't have tried to run over the ICE agent. I've seen some of the craziest memes against this woman, and I'm not praising that. Shame on y'all that's making memes about the woman's death. But nonetheless, she's getting the Floyd treatment, bro. They not saying, oh, it could be something else. Oh, we need more to the story. Could we get more context? The typical when people don't really want to accept what's in front of them. I make news, so I see it all the time. Is there more context? White people ain't asking for no context at all. White people say, white people say good riddance. White people say, don't let the ground hit you where the tire left you. Bro, they don't care about the woman. And I think someone needs to bring this up. I had to bring this up. It's pissing me off that no one wants to bring this up, that white people completely destroying the racist narrative by holding one of their own accountable when they acting like it's not about race. White conservatives could have taken this opportunity to be completely biased. But you know what liberals are saying? Oh, they heartless. Oh, they defending terroristic ICE agents. They're saying all these things, but they're not bringing up how white people are treating her as if she was black. Now, if she was a black woman, they would say it's racism. They would say you're just looking for the narrative. Hey, I'm sorry. There do be some racism online. But this ain't it. I got to defend you when you right. I got to talk about y'all when you wrong. White people, white conservatives, you impressing everyone, man. Y'all keeping that same energy, bro, and it has to be brought up. Someone has to add this conversation to the threshold because it needs to be remembered how white people didn't give one single damn about a white woman, not a man, but a woman, someone that we typically supposed to defend when they FAFO. That's the real way. That's the American way. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Someone needed to bring this up. I had to do it. Oh, damn. I hate when that happens.
Now, I thought that was interesting. Now, I don't agree with his whole premise that white people don't care about this woman. Plenty of people care that she was killed. Nobody wants to see this happen. I don't agree that people don't care. But I think what he's saying, though, about conservatives being consistent. Conservatives, actually what blew his mind and what he's saying is, whoa, conservatives seem to be colorblind. They don't care if you're black, if you're white. If you break the law, then they're saying there should be consequences. I'm putting his words in other words. And this, to him, is revolutionary because he's been told all the while that every time conservatives are talked about in terms of law enforcement, first of all, from his perspective, it's usually about black people, and usually the narrative been, oh, they're racist. And what this has opened up his eyes to, wait a minute, these people are not coming from a race thing, they're coming from a consistency about the law being respected. And that blew his mind. James Golden, Snerdley, hour number uno in the can, hour number duo coming up. Whatever you do, stay right there. Do not go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Our number duo has arrived, my friends, on this Saturday morning extravaganza, your Saturday morning vibe. With us, Anchorette Supremo of the Red Apple Audio Networks, the voice of her generation, the one, the only, Liz Radabali. Good morning, Lizzie.
Good morning, Bo. Good morning. It is a pretty, gloomy morning here in New York, but, we're going to shine right through.
Yeah, you do that. Lizzie, I think that this Beyonce thing has just gone too far with you. It's gone too far, Lizzie.
What is the deal with Beyonce? What is my love for the Queen Bee being called into question? I am a card-carrying member of the Beehive, so look out, I sting.
Yeah, okay, well, this cowboy Carter business. And all of a sudden here, you're going to professional bull riding events at Madison Square Garden. Oh, Lizzie at the rodeo. What the H is this, Lizzie?
I do. I'm a city girl, born and raised, but I get a little country sometimes. I do get a little, my country roots come to fruition. I had a great time.
What country roots? You're from Long Island.
I did.
You're from Long Island.
I'm from Long Island.
Did you hear this, folks? My country roots.
I spent a lot of my childhood upstate New York, which anyone from upstate New York will tell you that is the country. That is the country. And I spent times on farms. My grandparents actually have a farmhouse upstate that I spent a lot of my time growing up there. So I've been to the county fair a few times. I feel like I could get a little country. And now I can officially say I've been to my first rodeo, which is awesome. I love that.
Lizzie, I went to Gow's. You don't even remember Gow's on Long Island when I was a kid. I went to Gow's with my parents. Used to go buy milk at this place called Gow's Farms. Fresh milk. And they had the cows and the goats and all this stuff. They had a little thing you could go, while your parents were busy, they could leave the kids out there. Back then it was safe.
Well, actually, my elementary school, growing up, actually had a chicken farm right across the street. Every time I would walk to elementary school, I would pass the chicken farm. There was a chicken farm right on my walk to school. So Long Island does also get a little country.
But I never thought of Long Island as being country because I saw a few cows and a goat in a fenced in area.
It's a
so
state
now
of
you're
mind.
going to rodeos.
Yes.
You get your country vibe on.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a location. That's all it is.
Well, you got to tell me about this story, Lizzie, where a guy's suing a restaurant after a... I'm sorry. After a TikTok video exposed his... Tell us about this story.
So, I don't want to encourage any, nefarious behavior here, but this story to me highlights the importance of having a go-to sneaky link spot. That sneaky link, for those who don't know, that's the kind of catchphrase for someone who's having an affair. They're having a sneaky link. They got a sneaky link. That's their partner, their affair partner usually. But yeah, you have to find a sneaky link spot. You have to find a spot low key. I actually went to a jazz club earlier this week, and it very much felt like a sneaky link spot. Dim lighting, a lot of privacy. You're not really making eye contact with people there. That's not the case though with this Italian restaurant. A man who is now suing the restaurant because they posted a TikTok of this guy. And apparently this guy was telling his wife that he was out of town on a business trip. But then she saw the social media video going viral, this social media promotion video of her man at a restaurant with his secret lover. Now, the details, I searched high and low. I gotta tell you, I searched everywhere for this TikTok, for the actual content in question here. I could not find it. It must have been scrubbed from the internet already because, they're facing this legal action now. But so there was a TikTok of this guy caught on camera his wife found out, and then, what does she do? She ends things. She kicked him out of the house, according to reports. And like I said, I can't find actual specifics on, who these people are. I can't find the video. I really wish I could because I want to follow up on this story. But so now it's just really kind of spurring a debate over privacy. And, do you have privacy when you enter a private place of business? Now, a lot of people, you may see those signs every time you go into a store that say smile, you're on camera. And that essentially is the store getting consent from you whenever you enter the facility that you are consenting to be on camera. So that's a sneaky way that businesses kind of get around these laws of consent. But Europe, they're very strict with privacy rights. I mean, we've seen the social media companies get clamped down because of, different privacy violations and, security concerns that they have. But now Italy's national privacy watchdog may get involved in this case. The Italian consumer rights group, Codicons, is the one who's launching this lawsuit. They're seeking damages on behalf of this man. And, a lot of people, like I said, it's starting a debate. What is private when you enter a private space of business? And, how does the public really kind of play a role in that as well? Because everyone has cameras nowadays. You could go to a concert and end up like the Coldplay astronomer CEO situation. You remember that over the summer?
Oh, do I? Yes.
It was like news for 3 weeks.
And that woman has finally started speaking out, by the way. And apparently it wasn't what everybody thought it was, according to her, but too late.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could speak for the entire world when I say, who cares? We're so over that story. But this story now, re-sparking the debate over, privacy laws and, when you go out in the public space, you're not really, that privacy is kind of eliminated.
Well, the moral of the story is a moral one.
or immoral, find a sneaky link spot, like I said earlier. But I don't want to condemn. I want to condemn. I want to go on the record. I'm just saying,
if you want to make sure that you're not going to be busted, don't do it.
That's abstinence. Yes, is always key, but for those
or fidelity. Yeah. And I'm just saying. I mean, not that. Anyway, let me just get off that really quickly. McDonald's. Speaking of lawsuits, is facing a lawsuit over a menu item that they brought back that many people love, their McRib. Why are they being sued, Lizzie?
Well, people say that there's actually no rib meat in the McRib. They say that it's just
well, then what's in it?
They say that it's just an amalgamation of products like heart, scaled.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, stop. First of all, McDonald's, please don't sue us because we're not saying it. It's in there. We're just reporting what other people are saying.
Yes, that is that. Thank you because I know, I'm sure that McDonald's, the giant corporation that they are, they're probably very litigious and have the legal team to back that up. But yeah, the plaintiffs are claiming that it is not rib meat, that it is just a mix of different pork products like heart, something, I don't know if this tripe, I don't know what that is.
You don't know what tripe is?
I don't eat meat. No,
I'm a vegetarian, Lizzie, too. But I know what tripe is.
Yes.
And trust me, you don't really want to know.
See, yeah, and I'll continue to live in ignorance. I'm not gonna look that up and assault my eyes.
Don't do that. You ruin your appetite if you're not a fan of it.
Yeah, but so the lawsuit contends that it is not actual rib meat. McDonald's says, no, it is rib meat. This lawsuit is distorting the facts, but they're trying to get this to be a class action lawsuit so that anyone who bought the sandwich in the past 4 years can get some sort of damages. Now, it hasn't gotten to that point yet. Like there hasn't been any, reward, or a judge has not ruled on this case as of yet. But, we'll see, because I do know that the chicken nuggets, at a lot of these fast food restaurants, they contain rib meat. So the chicken nuggets are like, the pink, infamous pink paste video.
What? I don't even, stop. Breakfast time. It's breakfast time. What are you doing? Lizzie.
Well, I don't think anyone's eating chicken nuggets for breakfast. And if they are, they have to rethink some life decisions, honestly. Chicken nuggets have rib meat. So, I mean, maybe if you really are itching for some rib meat, go ahead for the nugget option. That's just a thought.
Happy breakfasting. Brought to you by Lizzie.
I'll tell you, I could watch that pink paste video though and eat chicken nuggets like no problem. That does not affect me. I don't care. I know that it's a bunch of like meat blend. Like I don't care. What do you think? What part of the chicken is a nugget? Like that you're just eating a mix of meat.
Well, have you ever heard of Spam? Not the email spam. Have you ever heard of Spam?
Yes, I have heard of
Spam in the can?
Yes.
Have you ever tasted Spam in the can when you were a kid before you were a vegetarian?
No, yeah, I completely avoided pork my entire life.
Okay, so no piggies for Lizzie.
No.
Okay, a Dutch couple has had their marriage annulled due to What, Lizzie?
Oh, you know that I had to sneak in a story here regarding artificial intelligence. My number one enemy, ChatGPT. That's public enemy number one for me. ChatGPT in specific. Because now, they're ruining the sanctity of marriage with these chatbots. So,
really?
Yes. A Dutch couple actually just got their marriage completely wiped from the books. They have to go back in order for this to be a legal union because, the ChatGPT generated speech that was supposed to be this like jokey, cutesy thing. And I gotta read you a line when we get to it, but it was actually not legal. It did not meet the legal standards as for wedding vows in the Netherlands, so completely wiped from the records. And I just want to read one of the lines from this. So the person officiating their ceremony asked whether they would, quote, continue supporting each other, teasing each other, and embracing each other even when life gets difficult. And then after the pair said, I do, then the officiant declared them not only husband and wife, but above all, a team, a crazy couple, each other's love and home base. Like, yuck. First of all, I just want to say the worst part of that is the ChatGPT cadence that you hear there. That is a lot of people online have pointed out that when you go through these chatbots, it has a formula for when it says things. It will say, this is not only this, but it is actually this. So not only husband and wife, but above all, a crazy couple. And
well, I thought that was cute.
Well,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I have to disagree, Bo, because first of all, like, crazy couple, what does that even mean? If a real wedding officiant said, oh, you crazy couple during my wedding, I'm canceling the whole show and shebang, and I'm trying again because, well, ultimately that's what these people have to do. They have to go back to court. And mind you, weddings are not free. Weddings are not cheap. This is something that I have been, very rudely alerted to as someone planning a wedding right now. But
yes.
In Europe, it is around, in the Netherlands, averages around $450 fee, euro, in euros. That's approximately $523 for every time that you want to go and, form a civil union.
Oh, the cost is cheap when you compare it to the love.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Lizzie, I have to answer the question now. You asked it, I asked you, and then I'm getting other questions, so now I have to answer it. So I went to your friend to get the answer.
Was that ChatGPT?
Why
would you trust that robot?
Because it gave the answer. Here's the answer, ladies and gentlemen, to the question, what is tripe? Lizzie? Oh, I knew, but I wanted to see what they would say, and it gave a more detailed explanation than I was going to give. Tripe is the edible lining of the stomach from ruminant animals, most commonly cows, but also sheep, goats, and deer.
Ooh, yum.
Prized in many cuisines for its chewy texture and used in hearty dishes like soups, stews, and stir fries, despite being considered awful. It comes from different stomach chambers, like the honeycomb reticulum. It requires long, slow cooking, stewing, or boiling to become tender, and it absorbs the flavors from added herbs and spices.
Yeah, you gotta hide all that. You gotta hide that in plenty of herbs and spices. I'm sure that chewy stomach lining, that delicious. My mouth is watering.
Happy breakfasting, folks. But I answered the question. People want to know things. It's our job to give information. So there's your information. For those of you that didn't know what tripe was, now you know.
The more you know.
I love that. She can sing, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you so much, Bo. Now I know. Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. Okay. Okay. Oh. All right, let's a sandwich. What kind of sandwich are you having for lunch? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back. We've got more sound bites. We've got more of your calls. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. Thank you if you've been on hold. We'll get with you soon. Saturday Morning Vibe. Saturday Morning Extravaganza continues.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Chris in the Catskills is hanging on the telephones. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good morning, James. Always love to hear your historical accounts of music. I wanted to call to your attention a election law that got signed by Kathy Hochul several weeks ago that has not been reported in the media, and I think it's very disturbing. It goes against democratic principles and the Constitution. Essentially, it states that if a political candidate in the state of New York changes their voter registration from another affiliation, another party, or unenrolled to the Working Families Party, that if this candidate was not endorsed by the Working Families Party, the candidate can be hauled into a court of law in the respective county where the political activities are taking place. And there will be questions of the political candidate by the judge and the plaintiffs, who would be members of the Working Families Party, and they will examine their previous party affiliation and registration and any type of political office they held belonging to another political party, and the judge will determine whether or not it was a quote-unquote scam in order for this person to obtain the Working Families Party line for political strategic reasons. I find it highly disturbing.
All right, tell us, Chris, why is that disturbing? Because some people are going to hear that and say, okay, that makes sense. Because what you don't want to have is people just putting their names on a party list just so that they can, New York, when you look at, and some other states, many other states around the country have this. We often think of a two-party system, but if you look in New York, there are numerous parties, including the old Conservative Party. I don't know whether they're still on there. The Working Party, the Socialist Party, the this party, the that. So what do you see as the danger here, Chris?
Well, for clarification, we only have 4 political parties in New York now: Democrat, Republican, Conservative, Working Families Party, in the order of enrollment. All the other parties, the Independence Party, Cuomo passed some laws that were aimed at trying to get rid of the Working Families Party. Andrew Cuomo did, and the Working Families Party held steady. And the Independence Party, which was the third largest one in New York, they put up their own candidate for governor. They didn't endorse one of the 2 major candidates, so they fell short of the threshold of getting the necessary requisite number of votes you need to remain viable as a political party in New York. So we just have those 4 parties. Full disclosure, when I was a elected official, I was a Democrat, and I got endorsed by the Working Families Party twice. After I lost a close race to get out of office, when I tried getting back in several years later, I got screwed over by the Working Families Party, and they endorsed the Socialist over me. So what I ended up doing was I went out and won 2 write-in campaigns, 2 different elections to win the Working Families Party line. And they have passed laws in New York that are undemocratic. You cannot win a write-in campaign if you don't belong to that political party. Like, as a candidate, I actually won the Republican line through a write-in campaign. As a Democrat, my second term for re-election as an incumbent, and I won the Independence Party line 3 times through a write-in campaign. I was the only candidate ever in the history of my county to do that on the county level, and I did it 3 times. 16 years.
Chris, tell us why this particular law that Hochul signed, what are the dangers here?
Because how is it that a judge can determine, because it's basing political affiliation on a set of values that a handful or several dozen party bosses determine. And I think it goes into the ideological rabbit hole of why our government is so ineffective, and politics and governance and government is so divisive now, where we have ideologies and movements that are the acid tests for determining what it means to belong to those 2 major political parties. If you're a Republican, it's about belonging to the MAGA movement that Donald Trump created. If you're a Democrat, you either now have to be, in many parts of the country, you either have to be a socialist or you have to be some sort of a progressive. And the adherence to these ideologies and movements is dumbing down our political process. It's dumbing down the intelligence of the voters. Voters don't have independent, intelligent thinking capabilities on their own. They want to listen to what some local party boss or state party boss tells them to do, or they want to listen to what Donald Trump tells them to do. And it takes away from the independent thinking processes that voters should have. And it puts the onus on people that want to be politicians and run for political office, where they have to kowtow to the leaders of these ideologies and movements. And it's
okay, no, they don't. Chris, let me just push back with you a little bit. Friendly. No, they don't. You could look at Mike Lawler. Look at Sue Collins. Look at Lisa Murkowski. Look at Rand Paul. Look at the 9 Republicans that decided that they wanted to sign on, even though it's going nowhere, for these extensions to this horrible Obamacare subsidies this week. Okay? So, and look at all the other ones. Look at the Kissingers, look at Liz Cheney and that bunch. You don't have to adhere. The base of the Republican Party strongly supports Donald Trump by numbers that we have not seen for a Republican ever in modern history. This is the direction of the party, not the direction that's coming top down. The people supported Donald Trump in 2 occasions where every political genius said he's going to lose. He doesn't have a chance. This movement in the Republican Party is people-driven. It's not driven from the top. If Donald Trump didn't have the embrace of the party, there's no way, after everything that he's been put through by the hands of rabid TDS Democrats, that he would have been reelected with the largest margin of any Republican in history. So it's not Donald Trump MAGA telling America what to do. It's American telling Donald Trump, you're singing our tune and here's what we want you to do. That's what happened here in my view, Chris.
Do you think it's healthy for elected officials in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party to buck the system and have their own independent viewpoints that might...
Yes, I do, if you can stand the heat. Mike Lawler's still running in New York. I'm not against people let me put it like this. I'm frustrated with Republicans who stick political knives in Trump's back. But they have to face the voters. And I'm not mad if they win in their districts. I'm not mad if Mike Lawler gets reelected. I'm not mad if Susan Collins gets reelected. Because that's their voters speaking. Now, do their obstructions, I think, create problems sometimes? Okay. But to me, that's the political process at work. I'm not mad that these progressives are winning. I want them to win. I want this. Right now, we are seeing politics clearer than ever before. The progressives are they're crazy. And I want that craziness on full display. You can't hide it anymore. Like they used to hide all their socialist policy behind moderate language. Now they're out in the open. They're not hiding. Now you have Amandami. Now you have AOC. Now you have Jasmine. Now you have Ayanna Pressley. Now you have Pramila Jayapal. Now you have Hirono. You have all of these crazies that are out here talking all of this smack before America every day. And now it's clear. They're not hiding. And on the other hand, you have Donald Trump, and he's certainly not hiding. So this is what America needs. The clear choice with no lies, with no mask on over what their true political aspirations are. And I love the fact that it's happening.
What do you think would happen if Mark Cuban ran for president as a Democrat in the near future? Would he have a chance of winning as like a policy-driven, non-ideological type of Democrat?
Yes.
And do you think that would be good for the state of politics and governance in this country?
I think it would be good for the state of politics. I think it would be horrible for America. The same way I think that it would be good for the state of politics if Gavin Newsom becomes your front runner and then loses handily. But if he wins, well, then I don't know. We're cooked for 4 years or 8 years. But I think it's healthy.
I'm a Sherrod Brown Democrat, and I think he's too old to go anywhere. He doesn't have the name recognition, but I'm a guy that likes policy wonks.
Yeah, I know, and that's one of the reasons I like you so much and love you so much, because you explain stuff so well. Chris, I gotta run. Got some other calls, gotta get to, gotta break. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you, Chris. Bye-bye.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Meow. All right, quickly. You heard Pramila, ICE is gonna kill people, ICE is gonna do this. Let's get a contrasting view from all of that your life is in danger. 16. Here's another social media person. Here you go.
So here it is. I'm going to tell you. Your feelings. Facts is facts. At the end of the day, I don't want to hear, oh, she had 3 kids, or she had a 6-year-old. She was a good mother. She wasn't considering any of that when she got her ass behind that wheel and started operating it and drove it at a federal officer. That's simple. Your feelings. What's going on in Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever the it is, where all them motherfuckers snapping over
Hey, language!
Y'all created that shit. And the lady from Missouri, she got a pair of y'all, I'm gonna show you now. I just moved to Minnesota. I'm from the show me state. They showed her and put some holes in her face.
Hey!
Got shit to say, and her kids are never gonna see their mom again. Why? Because she made a stupid move. If it was a you'd have just said, that's a dumb he should have complied. Well, that was a dumb white she should have complied. And now she got what she got, and it is what it is. The should have listened. She should have got out the car, complied, and she would have went on about her day, and her kids would be having dinner with her ass. Instead, that got holes in her head, and she ain't here no more, and it is what it is. Your feelings, facts is facts. Get out their way, let them do their job, leave them people alone, and they ain't gonna you. You keep with them, go on and drive a car to an officer if you want to, and see if you don't catch some hot ones in your ass. It is what it is.
Yeah. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there are views all over the place, including that one. I happen to, by the way, Kristi Noem was asked about her and said that people need to pray for the family of her too. Now, here's what we also have today. I don't know whether we're going to have time to get to it. In Portland, as you know, or may know, there was another shooting. Democrats, including the mayor, quick to say that they didn't believe ICE. I said they were too Tren de Agua. The police chief now, this last night, confirmed. The police chief. Yes, they were Tren de Agua. Those two, the husband and wife. CNN led with the story. ICE, Border Patrol shot a married couple. Oh, it was a married couple. It was a married couple. I just got a text from a very, very dear friend of mine who apparently has sided with the left on this. The woman, she said to me in the text, was trying to get away from the a-hole. Some ICE agents are murdering people, as we all witnessed. No, we did not witness that. If you look at all of the videos, it is not the person, the ICE officer on the side of the car. It's the one in front of her. She was trying to leave, is correct. The officer had told her, get out of the car. Get out of the car. And instead of getting out of the car as instructed by law enforcement, she drove off and drove into another agent who had already been the victim of being rammed by a car and had been hospitalized from his grievous injuries from that incident. When police officers tell you to get out of the car, you get out of the damn car. It's simple. We'll be back.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends, to our number trio. Getting started here, I wish two of my very, very dear friends, the brilliant music conductor who has taught me so much about classical music and music in general and scoring, Patrick Burns, and his lovely wife, Jessica. Very happy anniversary, 16 years together yesterday. Happy anniversary. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that many of you have been waiting for. In fact, some of you wait for this moment more than you wait for me.
It's time for Radio Royalty with James Golden and America's Princess of Policy, Princess Di.
When you hear that, you know the Ness is in the house. The goodness, the loveliness, the analysis-ness, Her Highness Ness, royalness at its bestness, Princess Diana in the crib. Good morning, Your Highness.
Sir James, it is wonderful to hear your voice, but I have to disagree with you. People do not wait for me more than they wait for you.
Oh, yes, they do. Some of them do. They
do not, and I wait for you every weekday at 4 o'clock and every Saturday morning at 7. So that is the highlight of our week.
Well, thank you. Very, very, very kind, Your Highnessness. What a week this has been. I've never seen anything. Well, yes, we have. I'm young enough to remember the days of Kent State. I remember the anti-war movement, Vietnam. But I tell you, it hasn't been like this, I think, since then. And it is, the passions in this country are running so high right now. It's just astounding. What do you make of all of it?
Well, talking domestically and from the unrest that's been ongoing against ICE for the second term of Trump especially, although if you recall, the Abolish ICE movement started before the first term. This has been a long-term project of the left, and they are continuing. And I think it's interesting you mentioned Kent State, because I do think that is what the left is trying to gin up. They want national rebellion against the Trump administration, and they recall their own history of the left of how they turned the American public against the administration during the Nixon years. And so they wanted to have some kind of, in fact, there were calls for, I don't know if you remember this, recent calls for violence, for quote unquote blood. We need to have shooting and all of this. And these have been highlighted after the unfortunate shooting of the woman who drove her car at an ICE agent and suffered the consequences. And that was something, as you say, nobody wanted to see happen, but it was one of those things, when you attack law enforcement, you're going to have consequences. But they have been sending liberal women into the fray as cannon fodder on the left for months now. They have ginned up their base, and their base is primarily, a lot of them, liberal women who have been made hysterical. You've seen them talking to their phones in their cars and then putting it online. And, you know, one of the sound bites you played earlier of the woman just so infuriated and angry and calling for a civil war, basically. And that is the message of the entire activist Democrat Party, including governors, who are basically calling for protests to increase. They're not trying to tamp down the fever pitch at all. They're trying to heighten it, because this is all they have to try to stop Donald Trump. They are trying to go to their playbook. What can stop is civil unrest, they believe. And, you know, Rachel Maddow this week basically said, I don't know if you heard the soundbite, she told Jimmy Kimmel that basically this is what the quote is: once you have 3.5% of a population protesting nonviolently, she said, against a dictator or an authoritarian, that is essentially an unstoppable force that they can't oppose, and that precludes them from consolidating dictatorial power. It's not that much larger a number than what we're already seeing in the streets against Trump. She wasn't talking about Iran. She was talking about America. And just all they need is 3.5% of the population to get protesting out in the streets, and they truly believe they can stop Donald Trump with this kind of, well, she's calling it nonviolent, but it is violent. It has been violent from the get-go. The media simply doesn't cover the violent parts or claim that the violence is on the part of law enforcement. So this is their plan, to stop Donald Trump, and you're seeing more and more. I know you and I had texted some of these things, that they're calling for shooting ICE agents, you know, and some of these names that are calling for such things are on MSNBC and on, you know, major cable shows. And so this is their plan. They want to basically start, which is absurd, and it is not going to go the way they think it's going to go. But this is all they've got.
It is just stunning. Now, in the beginning, let's shift gears for a moment. At the very beginning of the show, I played something from a person that you actually introduced me to many decades. Well, I shouldn't say many, but yeah, many decades ago, a few decades ago.
Many.
oh, Diana, anyway, you introduced me to this man, and I had a chance to meet with him. Now he can be heard on, not just Fox Business, but, across Red Apple Media Audio Network. In fact, he has a show coming on the network later today. Brilliant. Back then, he was heading up the Club for Growth. His name is Steve Moore. I opened the show by saying Princess Diana said to us 1 year ago, after close to a year ago, when Donald Trump was inaugurated, started rolling out his platform, she said she started and has been telling us consistently ever since, it's going to take about a year. It's going to take about a year, and then the economy will boom. Matt, cut one. We started the show with it. Let's hear Steve Moore. This goes by very quickly. One more time. This was Steve Moore yesterday.
My God, we just got a report from the Fed Atlanta Bank that says we grew at 5.3% in the fourth quarter. This is an absolutely booming economy right now.
Yay. And it is. He's absolutely right. And this week we have seen more evidence of it. This is why I said a year ago, update your resumes, create your business plan, get ready, because the American economy is going to be hitting on all 8 cylinders, or however many cylinders a new Tesla has. Probably none. They have what the other energy. But it is going to be an available freedom for your prosperity, all of America. The mortgage rates fell to under 6% this week, the lowest level in 3 years. The unemployment rate is down to 4.4%. Labor market stabilization is happening because the U.S. labor productivity in Q3 was up unexpectedly 4.9%, which means there's strong output growth, and that is attributed to AI. Basically, the American worker is producing more thanks to the assistance from AI. That's what it's attributed to. Inflation is still only 2.7%. We had 4.3 GDP growth in Q3, and gasoline's at $2.79. A dozen eggs are at $2.86. Food prices are still high, but they're coming down. The stock market is rallying. The dollar is higher and basically drawing all money and funding here to America. We have everything set the table as thanks to Donald Trump and thanks to his tariffs. We are bringing in billions of dollars in investment, and all of the predictions of the doom and gloomers, the panicans, as Trump called them, have been proven false. And so every sign is that this is the year of the beginning of the golden age. So participate. Everybody needs to participate. Tell your kids and grandkids, start a trade, get your training, stay away from college. That would be my advice. But start participating in this economy, which is going to be for the prosperity of the future of America as well as for us. So this is hugely important for us to basically throw off your fears and throw off your worries and anxiety economically and dive in, because the water is going to be warm.
Now, you sent us an audio bite. Matt, let's play it now and have Diana explain to us what it is that we are hearing. Here it is.
We don't know if the world's saturated oil market will accept any more oil.
What?
This has left great instability, not just in Venezuela, but in the region. What? And that leads to insecurity for the United States of America.
What?
This is going to be the Democrat talking point, that more oil under America's control is bad, and that lower oil prices are bad, because this guy who was basically, this is Jimmy Panetta, who is a congressman from California. He is Leon Panetta's son, if you recall Leon Panetta.
Lordy. Of course.
Defense minister, so to speak. He also had been a congressman from that same district. But he is saying that the market can't accept more oil, which of course tells you he knows nothing about how any market works, because the more, any kind of product comes into any market, the prices go down.
The prices go down.
So he's like, well, the market can't even accept new oil. This is the Democrat mindset, which is ridiculous. But they have to find some way of, looking askance at the immense changes that Donald Trump has made geopolitically that are about to and are already benefiting the United States of America. And it's not going to work, because the changes are going to be so vast and so huge and so enormous that no Democrat talking point. I told you they had this year, I called it the window of panic. They had this year to predict doom and gloom and terror, and people unfortunately believe some of it. But that ability to predict gloom and doom is over once people actually experience what we're now in the beginning of the golden age that Trump is ushering in. But geopolitically, I just want to say that there has been such change, and I want to talk about a specific event, which we all saw what happened in Venezuela. But I want to focus in on 8 minutes of that extraction. This is how long it took for our special forces, the Delta forces, to drop down from the helicopter, to breach the building, which was the safe house, to get to the floor Maduro was on, to blow open the steel doors, to reach in, to grab him and his wife, get back up to the roof of the building, all the while, taking out all of the forces guarding Maduro, and ascend into the helicopter. That took our guys 8 minutes. And every single world leader knows it. We blew through the surveillance that had been given by China and Russia, their first-rate defense systems, their radars, their ground-to-air missile systems were unable to see any of it. We were in and out of that place before they were able to react. Not one of our guys was killed. We had one helicopter that was hit, but still operational. We were in and out of there with no casualties. And every world leader saw exactly what happened, and the bad guys know that could be me. There was no defense about American capabilities, technology. We reached in there, and Trump had predicted, he told Maduro, we're going to reach into you like an arm out of the sky. And he still did not surrender beforehand. He had a chance when Trump predicted exactly what would happen, and he didn't listen. And so the big arm came out of the sky, reached in and grabbed him, and now he is in American custody. And every bad guy in the world knows exactly what could happen to them. So the whole world changed.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Princess Diana is here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess, Donald Trump is calling for a 1-year 10% cap on credit card interest rates for a year. He's also calling for large investor groups to be banned from purchasing up single-family homes in America, and he's put also on notice he wants to put a fund together that would also be used for helping people purchase single-family homes. Do you think any of this has a chance of succeeding?
Well, Congress has to enact a bunch of that. And I'm not sure that the cap on credit card interest rates is a good idea. When you distort the market by government, that tends to have not good consequences. But those things all are pressure points that Trump is putting on forces that are causing high interest rate and cost of living. I think that he's also, the most important thing that he's going to be doing this year is changing out the Fed chair. That will have the most market effect on the actual living, cost of living for Americans, because interest rates will be going down everywhere once he has his guy in there instead of someone who's throwing sand in the gears. So those things are all, in my view, negotiating tactics. And as far as I hate credit card interest rates, and some of them are ridiculous, but to me, to have government intervention is not a great idea.
Well, we already have government intervention. They ban loan sharking, and that's what. No, I'm serious.
Yes, and you're saying
and the rates that and Princess died. The rates that some of these credit cards are charging used to be considered loan sharking.
Yes. Well, we'll see if Congress will enact this, because that's the only way that will happen.
But by the way, just so you know, I have reservations about it too. But I'm just saying. Okay, we got to go for a break, but I want to read you 3 quick headlines, and I want you to hold on. We're going to take some calls. Keane warns Iranian regime to take Trump dead serious on protest killing threat amid ongoing demonstrations. He's telling Iranian's leadership, Donald Trump saying you better stop killing these protesters. You better listen, because you're at the weakest point you've been in 45 years. This is General Jack Keane. Second, in the Daily BS today, Iran's capital in flames as leader blames Trump for fiery protests. They even named a street after Donald Trump in one of these Iranian cities. It may have been Tehran. Third, Wall Street Journal today. Iranians are rallying around the son of the former Shah as protests swell. Any chance?
Yes. And that is media blackout on Iran is very significant because that's where we have another huge geopolitical change thanks to Trump.
Boom.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's start with, Ernest is calling from Rockland County, New York. You're on with Princess Diana. You're on with Snerdley. How are you, Ernest?
I'm fine. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time. Just one musical note, sir. Jim Croce, he had an amazing song called Lover's Cross. I hang on a lover's cross for you. Very sad and beautiful song, Jim Croce.
I love Jim Croce so much. Thank you. I'm going to listen to that. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're a music advocate, and I appreciate that, as all your listeners do. The Attorney General, sir, in Philadelphia, all of these Democrats are issuing what's known as declarations of mixed war. The Attorney General is in violation of U.S. Code 7311, loyalty and striking. He and the other Democrats are advocating the overthrow of our constitutional form of government. And what is that? They're doing two things. They're perverting the Constitution, and they're making a mockery of our justice court system. And the point is that this is a country of law, and the people need to understand there's 54 titles of law that protect us, and we can cite that just by being American. And Title 4 is the flag law. The Pledge of Allegiance is law. The flag stands for a republic. A republic is a commonwealth. Please, this is not a democracy. Democracy is control of the people.
Yeah, listen, I say all the time the republic. I know that. I think most of the listeners here, but I want to get to your point about what Democrats are doing. Princess, how would you respond to what Larry Krasner, all of these Democrat mayors are doing in terms of calling for basically an insurrection?
Well, Trump has talked about in the past and recently about the Insurrection Act, which is at his beck and call. He can use it. I know that he is, treading very slowly on that. But at some point, if there is an armed insurrection, then it will be met with a firm response. And you see the response to the Minneapolis unrest. Basically, the president sent in more troops. So this is not going to go the way a weak president would react. It's going to be met with strength.
In fact, you mentioned that. I want to briefly just Matt, we have that soundbite from Amy Klobuchar that I sent in from the overnight. She's mad that there are more. If you can find that, just give me a thumbs up. And I want to just play that in case you haven't heard that, Princess Stein. And for the audience, Amy Klobuchar was asked about the presence that you just talked about. And she just responded by saying pretty much that there are more. Do we have it? Here it is. Let's listen to Amy Klobuchar. Go ahead, fire it off.
Making our community less safe. By the numbers, according to our well-respected Minneapolis Police Chief, Brian O'Hara, there are now more ICE agents in Minnesota than there are police officers, combined Minneapolis Police Force and St. Paul Police Force. So they are outnumbering our own local police officers out on the streets. They have picked up people who are legal, who have passports, who are yelling, I have a passport, I have a passport, look at my phone, I have a passport. And this is just got to stop. That are making our community less safe. By the numbers, according to...
they're making, that's it. They're making, so law enforcement, Princess Di, according to Amy, who wants to be governor now, perhaps, they're making less safe by the police presence in Minnesota.
Well, she says, it's got to stop. What is she going to do? I mean, this is not going to stop, and that is the answer because Trump sent in 1,000 more overnight, 1,000 more ICE agents. And so, yes, she's correct. I mean, the local police department didn't do the job. They meet up with any kind of riot and they flee. That we've seen videos of overnight as well. So the ICE agents will be protected and they will get the job done.
Pamela in New Jersey, very quickly, we have about a minute. Pamela in New Jersey, what is your question or comment? Thank you for calling and holding.
When one looks at the politicians encouraging violence against ICE, one must look at the personal finances of them. One, for instance, the mayor of Portland, Oregon, he has a huge trucking freight company. Now, I'm not saying he's doing it, but you know the industry that got super rich with Biden, hiring illegal drivers that have been slaughtering American citizens all over this country, the trucking industry. Just read on truckersreport.com, all the truckers saying they were pushed out of their job by illegals, and they are able to pay them real little salary. So when I hear about trucking companies saying, oh, they don't earn because of inflation and everything, well, that's true for the honest ones, but not the dishonest ones. And I find he's got skin in the game, that mayor of Portland, Oregon, because he owns a trucking outfit. So, of course, he's going to stick up for more illegal aliens.
Wow. Any reaction to that, Princess Di?
Interestingly enough, you had Vice President Vance just the other day talk about absolutely full of government response to all fraud and tracing the money, where it's coming from, and that is going to happen. And he specifically mentioned the illegal money coming from overseas and a lot of it going to these blue states and blue cities.
Wow, amazing. Princess Di, that's the time we have. Thank you so much as always. So appreciate you, love you, and hopefully we'll catch up with you during the week or at least next Saturday. Thank you, Princess Diana.
Thank you, Sir James.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley, time for America's Most Caffeinated Mom to check in for the first time this year. Happy New Year, Rhonda. How are you?
Happy New Year, James. It is so good to be back. Here at my house, we're coming down off of 2 weeks of chaos after the 4 food furnaces that are thinly disguised as my sons descended here. And like I said, chaos ensued. I don't know about you, but I love that Christmas Carol Silent Night. However, I would long to experience a silent night when they are all home. That's just not going to happen. In fact, you should be thankful that you don't have to buy groceries for 4 males when they come home. I think that we could have actually ransomed an actual king from a band of kidnappers with what we spent on groceries. We paid a king's ransom, but you know, it was wonderful. Chaotic, but wonderful. Those guys, I call them the Fab Four, took over my kitchen one night, and I thought I had miles of countertop, but when they do tacos, when they have taco night, every square inch of that counter is buried under taco components. So anyway, it was great, but it wasn't until the house got quiet again, there were no finger cymbals clacking, no foosball table clacking, the Keurig stopped wheezing, that I could finally have a few quiet moments to just sort of reflect over the past year. For us, 2025 was a year of some very big changes. Like, you know, we graduated our last kid from high school. A week later, we moved. We had sold the boys' childhood home, and we moved to a new town. Both of those were very big life changes for us. And as with any transition, you will know this, very good, but still very big and very hard in some ways. So we have a lot to be thankful for. It was on Christmas morning, as we were getting ready to open gifts, that my husband asked us all a question. This is what he said to all of us. He said, where do you want to be a year from now? And I think what he was also asking was, who do you want to be a year from now? It was a great question, and it sparked some serious reflection actually. Everybody calmed down, and we all thought about it, and then we went around the circle, and we gave our answers. It was very, very meaningful. Who do I want to be a year from now? There is really something about the ending of an old year and the start of a new one that is good. It's a good time for contemplation. It's just a milestone. And I know I watched in my news feeds, for some, they could not wait to close the chapter on 2025. Other people had had a great year. They were thrilled. They were posting their highlight reels. They were bounding into the new year, with great optimism, expecting so much more good to come. But again, not everyone felt that way. I mean, in our family, we had a death, an excruciating death, other hard, extended family, other hard things. So it's to the people who couldn't wait to be done with 2025 that I want to speak to this morning. If you felt no celebration or no happiness when the ball dropped, except that it was over, it's okay. If you are writhing from the failures of your past year, it's okay. If you feel like you barely limped over the finish line, it's okay. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to take you back to my husband's question. Where do you want to be in a year? Who do you want to be in a year from now? You don't have to live very long to know that you cannot prevent hard things from happening. And you also learn that you cannot control. There's so very much in life that you cannot control. And I remember when it hit me, consciously hit me, that I had no control in a certain very difficult situation in my life. It was completely out of my control. And 3 very wise women, none of whom knew each other, all said to me, as you start to change, so will this difficult person. As you begin to change, so will he. And I realized the only thing that Rhonda had control over was her attitude and her own self. And I grabbed that like a lifeline, and I decided that if that was what I could control and it would help the person I loved, I was going to throw myself into my own character growth and change 100%. And I can tell you that that was powerful and it was effective. So while we cannot keep the hard things from coming, and hard things will come in 2026, it's inevitable, we can affect how we respond. We can choose to be bitter and just park there. And I can tell you that's a very bad strategy. We can choose to be resentful, and then we just begin spewing our displeasure and our anger on everyone around us. Also a bad strategy. If we have been hurt, we can curl up into a self-protective ball, thinking I will never let anyone get close again, and that will eventually become our prison. If we have been stinkers, and we have blown it, and we have hurt others, we can flail around, deny it, try to place blame on everyone and anyone else, and that is a very destructive strategy. There are actually no circumstances. There is nothing that can happen to us that can prevent us from personal growth, that can prevent us from becoming better people. There's actually only one thing that can prevent that, and that is our choice. That's all. That's the only thing that can prevent us from growing and receiving good from the hard things that we experience. I saw somewhere recently that we live the first 40 years of our life striving for success, and the last part of our lives striving for significance. That's profound. If we want to live lives of significance, lives that matter, we have to start making those choices now that will get us there. So we can take responsibility. For instance, if we have failed, we take responsibility for our choices. If we want to be those people who have lived significant lives and who leave people behind who truly miss us and mourn because of what they have lost, then we have to be people of character. And character is taking responsibility for our choices and our mistakes. We take responsibility. Character requires that we do good at every opportunity, because it is entirely possible to feel deep personal pain and to still act in kindness and compassion toward other people. You can hold those two things in both hands. In fact, if we wait to do good and we wait to show kindness and compassion to other people until our lives are easy, we will never do it. And that means that we will miss out on untold gifts and blessings and rewards. And that is not what I want. And I'm sure it's not what you want. In fact, I believe that character grows and is formed when we are giving and serving other people in the middle of our own lack, our own deficit. To be very honest, for a while, as I was praying for my sons, they were waiting for certain things in their lives, and I just prayed, and I said, Lord, help them to serve other people, to give other people what they are themselves waiting for. Help them to give from their own lack, because that is called sowing and reaping. And whatever we sow, we will always reap. That's a big mantra of mine, because it's so true, and it affects every single area of our lives. So don't wait until your problem is resolved to help someone else. Don't wait. You will rob other people of a blessing, and you will rob yourself of a blessing. So character, I want to add this. Character makes room for hope. Character, a strong character, has no room for this passive resignation. There is a time when we must accept certain hard things, but the acceptance is not this depressed resignation that just gives up. It's two different things. So true character makes room for hope. It is grounded in faith. It is rooted in love, and it faces the future with a calm resolve and an expectation that there is still good for me, and I will live to see it. So one more time, I will put the question to you. Who do you want to be a year from now?
Wow.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.